Well, obviously, the challenger was the Labour Party, the Labour candidate. Labour held this seat in 2017, lost it to the SNP in 2019. So they've won it back, and there's widespread dissatisfaction with the SNP Scottish Government. So it's no surprise to see all of those that disagree with the SNP crowding around one particular candidate, and that candidate has succeeded. So that's how by-elections work. We know that. We see it all the time.
Well, Sir Keir Starmer has called it a seismic moment. Success in Scotland gives him a much better chance of getting into Downing Street, doesn't it? This bodes well for him, doesn't it?
Well, I think we just need to put it into context. That's his second MP, and they used to have a lot more in 2017. So that's a matter for him to comment. He's succeeded. You tend to see in by-elections all of those that are opposed to the governing party, and that's the SNP, who are clearly very unpopular, crowding around the party most likely to succeed, and that's occurred, and that's by-elections for you. We see it all the time.
Does it give you some cause for concern, though, come a general election?
Look, our focus is on governing for the whole of the United Kingdom, and that's why you saw the Prime Minister set out his pitch in terms of change and reform, and that's what we'll be focusing on. By-election results, are always of interest, of course, and we focus on every single vote, but what we're really focused on is winning the next general election and governing right now, so that we've got that platform to demonstrate to the people in the United Kingdom that they should vote Conservative when it comes to a general election, rather than focusing on just individual by-elections.
OK, well, let's talk about that pitch. The Prime Minister announced on Wednesday that he was scrapping the Manchester leg of HS2, putting the money into other local projects. Part of what was announced was that the bit that does survive of HS2 will travel into London Euston. But we now hear that that'll only happen if there's enough private finance secured for the project. Can you confirm that that's the case?
So the Prime Minister was completely clear that we need to do this differently, not have HS2 run it, have a development corporation set up. These are the types of models that have delivered Canary Wharf by private finance and all the transport infrastructure that comes. And most recently in London, in Nine Elms and Battersea Power Station, where again there's a station funded off the back of £9 billion worth of investment. So that's the model that we're looking at. So it means the private sector taking that lead. We believe they're best placed to deliver on what's actually the largest public sector land deal left in London. It's a huge opportunity to build offices, see businesses grow, and up to 10,000 homes. So it should be a private sector-led deal, because it's the type of land like the one I'm standing behind me in Leeds, where you'd expect the private sector to be able to deliver. And then off the back of that, we get our transport infrastructure.
So has any of the private investment required for the Euston leg been secured yet?
Well, we've always had a partner in Lend-Lease who are absolutely expert in this. They don't just master plan and deliver sites like the one we're talking about in Euston, but they also invest in it as well. So that provides a platform for us to get that investment through. And it's the type of thing that the private sector does across this country. So previously we've had a railway focus. We don't think that's the best way to deliver what is effectively a big private sector land deal, which is going to be all about homes and offices and businesses, as well as the station. So it's a new way of looking at it, but I'm absolutely determined that we will get that delivered. London delivers these types of projects, as does other parts of the country. You just look around London, you look at Canary Wharf, you look at Nine Elms, you look at Battersea Power Station. It's all done by the private sector. There is no reason why this can't be done, and I'm committed to ensuring it is done.
Apologies for rushing you. I know that we don't have a huge amount of time, so we're dependent on waiting to see whether we'll get investment to see if that leg will be properly secured. In the meantime, there are also questions over the new Network North's transport project. You promised to open the Leamside line in Northumberland in the documents published on Wednesday. Now, the reference to that line appears to be gone. So are you reopening that line or not?
So with pots of money, so £1.75 billion has been allocated to the North East region for their city transport deal. It's for them to determine how they wish to spend it. We have suggestions and have made suggestions how regions could spend, but it's also right that we actually listen and talk to the region about where they want to allocate that money. So Leamside line would be a very popular choice, but we do actually want them to make the ultimate decision. So that's where the clarification goes. We have funded Ferry Hill Station, so that's a good start. But the money's there for the region. It's down to them how they wish to fund it. And so that's where that clarification has been made.
So promises now seem to be becoming suggestions. Rishi Sunak's slogan was long decisions for a brighter future. But can investors trust that you'll stick to those long-term decisions?
Let me give you an example of that. Look, I'm here in Leeds at the moment, and yesterday I spent the entire day in Bradford. £2 billion has been allocated for a new station for Bradford. They're absolutely delighted with that. That wasn't able to be funded under the HS2 model because money was just being ploughed into that project. But they have two options. I spent the afternoon with them in their board meeting for us to work out which option is the better one. It's right that we work with our local authority partners because it's their, in this instance, city. It's for them to work with us and decide what the best model is, because it's not just transport for them. That's regeneration. That's something they've long cherished and wanted. Now that ambition will be realised. So I'm determined to sit down, work with our local authority partners, with business, to make sure we can deliver this package. The Prime Minister set it out and we will get it delivered.